Hey, 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 what's up, Source Gamers? How are you guys doing? So, still getting a little situated, but we basically have a surprise Good Morning Source Gaming stream. Now, I don't think I've ever hosted a Good Morning Source Gaming, so doing it this time is a little bit weird, especially considering the fact that, I'm hosting it pretty later than normal, and also I'm not centered in my camera. That's really weird. Uh, there we go. That's good. So, basically, it was I wasn't sure what to title the stream, so that's why it's a Good Morning Source Gaming, because it's still technically morning, so I'm not wrong there. But the whole point is that, and Colin might come back, I don't know. But the whole point is that if basically if you've been unless you've been living under a rock, the Pokemon has been going through a pretty tough time right now because at E3 they announced that no quiet man talk today. So at E3 they announced that the national decks basically in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Hold up. Okay, so in Pokemon Sword and Shield, instead of having every Pokemon that has ever existed into the game, what they're doing is that they're limiting the decks to only the Galar region. So in Sun and Moon, if you didn't play Sun and Moon, there wasn't a national dex. There was only an Alola dex, and it had like 408 or 404 Pokemon. But you could still transfer all your Pokemon from the past games into Sun and Moon. The data for them, they're still in the game, but they're not in the dex, and you're not able to capture all of them. And you're not able to capture all of them in Sun and Moon normally. So how you do that is by transferring through Pokemon Bank. Instead, in Sword and Shield, they're changing it so that you'll only be able to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Home. They'll only be able to transfer Pokemon that are already in the Galar Pokedex. So if a Pokemon that you have in the new Pokemon Home series that comes out early 2020, if a Pokemon that you have is in Pokemon Home, and they also appear in the Galar Dex, you can transfer them to Sword and Shield. Otherwise, if they do not appear in the Galar Dex, if they did not appear in the Galar Dex, you cannot transfer them, which got a lot of people angry, and rightfully so, because one of the major aspects of Pokemon is that you're catching them all. You're literally catching them all. That's the whole point. So the way that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to bring up some images later. Let's at least get situated a little bit before we fully get into the stream, because there may be people that are still having to see that the stream is live. But how this is working is that if you want to have a discussion with me, basically, you can type out your thoughts in the chat. But I think it would be way more important, or way more I think it would work. Why are you doing a stream without telling us? I said. So, basically, the way that this is gonna work is that you can either talk in the chat, or you can come in the voice channel that's in our Discord server, which is the Discord server is in the link. It's the first social media link. But if you want to talk to me directly, so that you can actually have a conversation about the Pokedex, about the sword and shield stuff, what you think about it, and stuff of that nature, then go in the directs and stream watching channel, voice channel, which I'll pull it up. I'll pull. Oh wait, hold on. That's a bad idea. That is a bad idea. Hold on. Okay. uh, let's see. Okay, yeah. Discord server. Stop. Okay. So, let's see right here. So let's layout right here. Oh, whoops. Okay. So, if if you are in the server, hello, what's up, gamer? So if you're in
That's
this,
right, Source Gamers. Not only will we be talking about the Quiet Man, but Hard
I
Gaming
hate
will
you.
be joining us in
Are
a
you
second.
serious?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I thought you were serious. I got happy. More people, that's cool.
Oh,
So,
joking.
So if you're in the server already and you want to join, just go into Directs and Stream Watching, which is right here. I'm hovering over it right now, so that if you want to talk, you can. We'll pull you into the voice channel again if you want to. So, but basically, yeah.
I bought Doom again.
You bought Doom for what console?
The Switch.
I thought you already had Doom.
Yeah.
So how'd you buy it again? How are you allowed to do that?
I bought it digitally.
Why?
Because I want to keep it with me at all times.
Just bring the cartridge with you.
No, it's too much effort. I want to boot up arcade mode whenever I want.
What the hell is wrong? Oh my god.
I like it.
Do you have the money? I mean, clearly you have the money to be doing that, but why don't you, like...
It's like half off. It was during the sale.
I guess.
Yeah, dude. Fuck CTR. I just bought Doom again.
Oh my gosh. So basically, let me look through. Oh yeah, by the way, if you do end up going into direct stream watching, please ping me because I'm probably gonna not notice otherwise.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Just ping me.
Keep things organized. Ping us in a voice chat accompaniment.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess first off, I should explain my opinion on the situation. So, as you might have seen in a few tweets, like at 4 a.m. this morning, I guess. I'm okay with the national decks, and we also talked about this in the last stream when we got our streaming rights back. Thanks YouTube, I guess. When basically I'm okay with the fact of a national decks not being included, not because for several reasons. First off, I don't use, and I'm speaking just in terms of personally. I understand that there are people who who do like complete the Pokedex, and that's kind of like that's their goal when playing Pokemon. It's not my goal because I know that even if I do complete it, it's not gonna do enough for me. I care more about the playing with friends aspect and just the story, and that's one of the main things. First off, I'll start off with that. The story of Pokemon is something I know a lot of people might not care about, but it's something I honestly do care about. I'm very interested in the way that they like to formulate their stories and the fact of what do they want to tell with these abundant amounts of monsters that they're creating like every 3 years. And I like to see what they're doing, how they're gonna change up the lore in terms of like why are there so many reds, why are there so many different timelines, how does the aspect of mega evolution affect past timelines or past events and stuff like that. So that's really what I care about. Pay you directly or pay Source Game? What do you mean? Oh, you can do either. You can super chat Source Gaming. If you want to support the streamer directly, as in me, then you can. But you don't. If you want me to see, if there's a message that you want to share, do it through. Oh snap! I just killed myself. If there's a message that you want to share, do it through super chat. Is this your face reveal? Yes, this is my face. No, this isn't my face reveal. Okay, so we got one person in stream watching. So I'll pull him in right now. Oh, whoops. Can I even pull him in? There we go. Hello.
Hello?
What's up, fellow gamer? I killed him! No! I killed... What happened?
That was fucking amazing.
I said hello, fellow gamer, and he died.
You said it so, like, bizarrely condescending. You're just like, hello, fellow gamer.
I didn't mean... That's the way I always say it.
And they went like, huh, and then they fucking left.
Why?
Spooked them, dude.
I'm sorry.
You fucking jump scared them.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to.
Fucking bully.
No, I'm not.
Right now.
Okay, man. If I scared you, bro, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just bro. It's the way I always say gamer. I didn't mean to scare you, bro.
The fucking what was it? A Fortnite milkshake? Was that fucking story you were telling?
Oh yeah. I called my friend. Told my friend, asked them to ask if they had the Fortnite shake at Starbucks, and.
Starbucks too. That's the best part.
I asked if they had the Fortnite shake at Starbucks, and she did. And the person at the register didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
It's funny because Starbucks don't even have the milkshakes.
they had those at that Pokemon Go Frappuccino, so that's why I thought to do. Like maybe they have a Fortnite shake.
Yeah, but that's like a secret menu thing. That's not a.
It's not a secret menu thing when you advertise it.
Was it?
Yes, it was advertised like the first year Pokemon Go was out.
But was it like an actual advertisement, or was it like a?
It was an actual advertisement. The Jigglypuff Frappuccino.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So yeah, basically, anyways.
There's always that bullshit where Starbucks is like, yeah, we totally have a cotton candy frap, but it's actually like 1 pump vanilla, 2 pumps raspberry or something. It's like super specific. You gotta go in.
I mean, otherwise, the Jigglypuff Frappuccino was the only time I actually really, interestingly, purposely went to Starbucks because I don't drink coffee, and Starbucks is their hot chocolate doesn't taste that good either. Nothing about Starbucks tastes good. Okay, so by the way, how do you think this story is gonna play so far? So hold up, somebody pinged me, I think, or we can just cover up the old filth with new filth. I guess Racing Wolf is back in voice chat, so I'll add him again and try not to scare him. God, we have so many channels. Hello.
Hello.
All right, what's up? I'm not gonna say the gamer thing this time. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Things happen.
Alright.
Obviously, I was on the direct stream and watching the voice chat, but then somehow just cut off for no reason.
That's
so
weird.
don't worry about it. Things happen.
Alright. So
basically, I'm just here for the Pokemon talk.
yeah,
which
what's
is
up?
obviously I'm hyped for. You know, in regards to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Right. So what was your? Oh my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just about to say about the Pokedex situation.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of disappointing, but right now it's just early stages because you don't know what else they're gonna bring in terms of news, feature, new Pokemon, and so on.
Right. We still don't. We've only seen like 20, 30, maybe 30% of the game because based upon the map, it's kind of the wild areas do take up a lot of space. But in terms of like the cities and like what the actual story ends up being, there could be considering the fact that the way that Pokemon has been as of lately, the stories have been kind of faster paced or at least easier to complete. But again, because the fact that this is also a new generation, and we're also working on like even though like Let's Go was our first mainline game, that was a remake. So we actually don't fully know how much Sword and Shield has to add to this time around. So whether we've only seen 30% of the game or whether we've only seen like maybe 10% of the game, we don't fully know how Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to how it's going to present itself completely. And I'm not just speaking in terms of graphics. I mean in terms of like how it presents a story. What's the villain? Because we still haven't seen that. So like, and are there other features that we also haven't seen? Because we've only seen Dynamaxing so far. So like saying like
yeah, I was about to say about the Dynamax. It's like they brought the idea of kaiju, like from Godzilla.
Yeah.
Thought, let's use that during battles. Make it more awesome.
Right.
I was kind of overwhelmed about the Dynamax feature, but it's hilarious and awesome at the same time.
Yeah. In terms of like, do you play Pokemon competitively or like used to maybe or at all?
No, just casually.
Oh, okay. So
like with every video game I play.
Alright, so but in terms of so what were your thoughts on? Do you think that are you at least okay, or what are your thoughts on the fact of Dynamaxing completely replacing not just Z moves but Mega Evolution as well, which was kind of a cool concept, but even then they didn't support it completely. What were your thoughts on the fact of that it's being completely removed? Those features are being completely removed in favor of Dynamaxing.
Well, in my opinion, I think it's a good idea, to replace things like Mega Evolution or Z moves for Dynamax.
Oh no. Okay.
Like a Pokemon Kaiju battle.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's like a Godzilla vs King Ghidorah, but with Pokemon.
So Hydro is asking some questions in the chat. My bad if I've been ignoring you guys. Ignoring you guys, not ignoring.
But when it comes to like Pokemon in general, not just for Sword and Shield.
Right.
I'm more interested in finding out about new Pokemon.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Like I sometimes can be impatient regarding the evolutions for the Gen 8 starters.
Mm-hmm. So, actually,
And I'm sorry.
no, that's all right.
I'm already decided on who am I gonna pick as my starter for Sword and Shield.
Who are you gonna pick?
Goofy.
Trash. No, I'm joking. I'm a Score Bunny gang.
Yeah. I mean, unlike Sword and Shield, most of the Pokemon games I play, I always go with fire.
Oh.
Except for Pokemon Y or X, I think I've got one of them where I picked grass.
Okay. So you go based upon the typing or just which design do you like? Because that's what I go based off of just the design purely.
What do you mean by design? You mean the design of the Pokemon?
Yeah,
like,
the design of the Pokemon, like if it looks cool or if it looks cute or something like that.
Both cool and cute.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. I can definitely sympathize with that. That's the way I pick them. So let's see. So we had some questions in the chat so far. So Hydro was saying. Oh, my bad.
Sorry. Who asked me a question, or who asked you a question? Sorry.
Hydra was asking, what do we think the story is gonna play out so far? So, have you read any of the? What the heck? Oh my gosh! Have you read any of the interviews that Masuda has been doing, on the Pokemon website they had the Pokemon.com had an interview with Masuda and Omori-san.
No.
So okay, so how the
sorry. What I'm saying is that I don't normally read interviews, whether it's from online or from newspaper or whatever.
Mhm.
So I'm just not into interviews, about what's been announced and whatnot. I'm just more interested of the announcement itself.
Okay. So basically they said that they're.
Sorry.
They said that they're trying to, well, not they're trying to, but the focus of the Galar region is to become the strongest, which is why they have features like Dynamaxing. But they're basically saying that the core functionality or the core theme around around this game this time around is that it's about becoming the strongest. So, considering the fact that they showed I don't think that they've ever shown Leon, well, not Leon, but specifically the champion that early before. I know they show I know sometimes they show they sometimes spoil the games way earlier than they should be, at least I think. But for Sun and Moon, we didn't know who the champion was right away. For at least people hinted, but there were hints that people just guessed, but we were never outright shown it. But for Galar and Sword and Shield, we've been shown who it is so far, and then we've also seen aspects of I think Black and White also had it where I don't think they showed off Alder as a champion right away, but Alder was heavily a part of the story, at least in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. But in terms of just regular Black and White, I don't think that they showed him a lot. So to consider that they changed things up this time about showing you some stuff straight away. How do you think Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to go in terms of how it plays out its story?
I think, with all Pokemon games, it's gonna be hype, regardless of the plot.
So do you mean in terms of the other core aspects that they focus on, other other events, or do you mean in terms of just because when you're playing a Pokemon game, you know what you're getting into. So do you just mean the core aspects that they're just evolving on top of that, or do you mean elaborate on, do you think if they're gonna add new stuff or something like that?
I think mainly for the core aspects.
Okay.
Gym and
Alright.
Wild Pokemon battle, or you can say, how you say, pretty much everything about Pokemon I like about, or that I'm hyped about.
Alright. Okay, so let me just pause the game real quick. Let's see. Nobody else is currently.
Now, can I just say about the design of the gym? Sorry, can I just say about the design of the gym in Sword and Shield?
Yeah.
It's obviously very, very much based on a soccer stadium, although in the UK they call it football.
Right. Did you see? I actually haven't seen any of the gym gameplay that people have posted up of Nessa, but have you seen the
No, I haven't.
Okay, never mind. Then we can't really
I
talk about
thought
it.
not. I thought to myself, not spoil it for myself, and just just enjoy it when the game's out.
That's fair. That's fair. I get that.
Now, in terms of sword and shield, the reason why I'm gonna go for sword because I'm more of the offense. When it comes to playing sports.
Right.
Whereas the shield is more for the defense.
I feel that. Oh God. I'm trying not to break the concentration of playing the game too. But
No, that's alright.
that's alright. This gameplay pains me.
And I was hoping, although I gotta be patient, is find out who's gonna be the next Pikachu clone.
Next Pikachu. Oh, I hope they don't add one.
I mean,
But
why?
because none of the Pikachu clones are as interesting as Pikachu. That's like you're just cloning Pikachu. So it's like if you can't really capture. You can't really capture Pikachu.
Alright. Who would you say, in your opinion, the best? I was gonna say the best, but I mean your favorite Pikachu clone.
None of them. I just like Pikachu. I mean, I guess
You don't
Pachirisu is cute, but I don't really like any of the Pikachu clones. Emolga looks ugly. Then Togedemaru is cute too as well, but I never use it, and I don't really care about it.
I seriously love Togedemaru.
The only other, I guess, not even a clone, but was a Alolan Raichu was cool, but that's really
Don't
it.
forget
Plus or
They are
minus,
so adorable.
I don't see the point.
They are so adorable. They are.
Hey, we got another one waiting in the queue.
Alright.
Cycle these fellas out.
Alright, so thanks for coming on Racing Wolf
Thank you.
7,157.
Have a good day.
Alright.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
Alright, so next one. Oh, you dragged him in, okay. What's up?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh god, I can hear you. For a second, I thought.
Oh, damn. Yeah, oh, jeez, I'm watching the stream and, because of the delay, I'm like, damn.
Phantom's
Yeah.
scared.
I got
Yeah.
scared because you and Nanton have similar voices. So for a second, I heard Nanton. I was like, huh? I thought Nanton was on an alt account for a second. My bad.
No, it's my, because I'm from lovely Sweden.
Ah.
Stockholm area, so, I got that twang, I guess.
Alright, what's up?
So hey, yeah, I don't know if I have like a ton to say about the new Pokemon, but I was wondering, so they got that Pokemon Bank, right?
Right.
Which is, like the transfer tool from the 3DS games, like the X and Y generation, right?
Right, you can transfer from Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Let's Go, and Pokemon Go as well.
Yeah. So like, I have a decent interest in Pokemon, and I'm interested to play those new games. But
Right.
I was wondering because so that new Pokemon Home,
Right.
it seems to me, and I would like to know if I'm incorrect, that Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home are like sort of the same thing. They're sort of iterations on each other. Am I incorrect? Like, why did they? Is there a reason why they were like, yo, we got Pokemon Home now? It's like Bank, but I don't know, it connects to these other things. Or is there like a legit reason why they had to like split that off into another layer of like transfer to? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Because like you would probably want like the one tool that is the transfer tool.
Right. So
I don't get that.
So I don't personally know the exact reason why they made it completely. Oh, I have to put the cartridge in for that. Whoops. I don't completely know why they decided to make a full up new software for people to play with, or not people play with, but for people to use in terms of transferring their Pokemon. Now the thing is that because we've seen in, I believe, Capcom did where they had for Monster Hunter Double Cross, and it was originally a 3DS title, and they had it as but it was only released in Japan. But when Monster Hunter Double Cross came to Switch, I believe they had some functionality where you could transfer your save data over to the Switch version, or like you're able to connect with them in some way and play together. Now,
Ah.
so I'm not if Game Freak if that technology is available for it to be used, I don't understand why they didn't do that. But I think it possibly could be because the fact of if you traded from if you're doing from if you just made like Pokemon Bank onto the Switch, you'd also have to update it in a way where it would also be it would allow you to have access to your Let's Go Pokemon and your Pokemon Go Pokemon. And the thing is that when you're going up a generation, not counting X and Y and Sun and Moon, because you can still I'm pretty sure you can still send your Pokemon from Sun and Moon back to X and Y and vice versa. Yeah. But the thing is that say if you're having Let's Go Pokemon from Let's Go or Pokemon from Pokemon Go, those games don't function with the Generation 7 and Generation 6 games. So they had to make it's like you would have to make a new software because if Pokemon because if it's all in one place, then Pokemon Bank would have access to your Let's Go and your Go mons as well as your Sword and Shield mons, but they also still wouldn't be transferable to those past games anyways. So you would have to make a separate software to separate the two, or else it wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't make sense to have all your Pokemon all together, but they can't go to the same place.
Yeah, I guess that makes some amount of sense. I'm just thinking like it's the different generations. Like it's like there's already been in Pokemon games like some Pokemon don't go one way or the other because of generations on having those Pokemon, or like for instance with Let's Go, that those Pokemon aren't implemented. Like so.
Right. So
yeah. For oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, it's okay. You finish what you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I mean for Let's Go. So I played a little bit of Let's Go, and my partner was finding it way more interesting than I. So sorry to say, but those fucking motion controls, goddamn. No good. But yeah, Let's Go is instant. That's like, yeah, we have these Pokemon implemented, and it doesn't go like you want to get Gen 2 in there, and that's fine because they had that focus. But I don't know, it felt like you can still have those rule sets where this game that can't have these Pokemon, but like, yeah. Sorry, maybe I'm being a bit nervous, but you just say that was.
It's alright. Are you referring to when you say like not having the other generations available? You are talking about like, in terms of Sword and Shield, the fact of like Let's Go only had like 152 Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean that's literally that seems to be sort of literally what's going on in Sword and Shield, that they literally don't have those Pokemon implemented into the game, right? So I mean that's sort of already happened. So I'm assuming you said that Pokemon Bank works with Let's Go.
No, Pokemon Home works with Let's Go. Pokemon Home works with Sword and Shield, Let's Go, and Go. Pokemon Bank was for X and Y, ORAS, and Sun and Moon. But Pokemon Bank will allow you to send your Pokemon into Pokemon Home, but you won't be able to send them back.
Okay, so I guess it's like the second generation of Pokemon Bank. Is that?
Yeah, that's a very better way of phrasing it than I did.
Yeah, maybe Nintendo or Game Freak, maybe they should actually just call it Pokemon Bank 2 or Pokemon Bank Generation 2, because it's now they have like new branding for a thing that's essentially sort of the same thing, right?
Yeah,
I don't think. Yeah, come on.
It's essentially sort of the same thing, but they're also adding onto it. So, like in the conference, they stated that it's not just as a home for your Pokemon. They also stated that because it's also a phone app as well. So it's a phone app and it works on your Switch. And through Pokemon Home, you'll also be able to actually trade Pokemon through Pokemon Home. So, and they also, I believe in their interview with Famitsu, they also kind of alluded to other gameplay elements being in Pokemon Home. So it's possible, I hope that they added that you are able to battle with the Pokemon that you have in Pokemon Bank. And Pokemon Home, my bad. Even I'm
Yeah.
getting messed up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, damn. Yeah, okay. I think if there's something added on top of it, I like sure like having a new app for it makes sense. It's just because they had different names. It sounded to me that they're very close to each other. It's like, oh, goddamn, why are you calling it different things? It didn't-
Yeah, I get that.
I think I. Yeah, I mean that's. I was watching you guys be on. It's like, oh right, this one question I've had in my mind because like Pokemon generally, I think I'm generally like, semi-interested, but I don't know. I played that Alpha Sapphire, that was the Ruby and Sapphire arena,
Yeah.
and those. Gosh, those dragged on. I felt like that sort of demotivated me to get excited about Pokemon. I don't know. So it's.
I can feel that.
I might play Sword and Shield, but I don't know.
Did you play the original Ruby and Sapphire games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ruby and Sapphire, I quite enjoyed back in the day, and like.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah. It's. I don't know if it's my favorite. I think Gold and Silver, that generation of games, that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because it was like that time of my youth and all. But also I sort of you might have heard the interviews where they said that, oh yeah, we thought this was the last Pokemon game, so we put all of the things in it, right?
What do you mean
There
in
was
terms
something
of
to that effect.
Sun and Moon?
No, I was thinking Gold and Silver back in the day.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I like Pokemon's Gold and Silver was like literally referred to as Pokemon 2. So they tried to fit as much as they could in it, and it also got like delayed a few times, right? I think.
You might be right. That's you're going way back. I don't think I have, because that wasn't. I was barely, second language and all. So that wasn't really. I wasn't tuned into the internet, and that community had that. But it's yeah, it probably was delayed. I mean, it's the story with Satoru Wada working on it.
Right.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know. I sort of feel that in that game. It's like, but yeah, it's if you're sort of a little bit out of Pokemon, it's like, wow, there's so many Pokemon. That type of.
Yeah.
There's so many Pokemon. It's, I don't know. It's that felt like, I don't know. I like it when it's not too huge of a task to actually catch them all. But that's you can have it all. The show gotta go on.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, the one type of Pokemon game I might actually get into. It's sort of a, because I'm a software designer, I've worked a little bit in games.
Right.
Sort of an idea for a Pokemon game, which could work with sort of the same framework of mechanics they got right now. Would essentially be like a roguelite Pokemon game.
Then I would say apply to Game Freak, because they said before, like they talked about fan games. It was like definitely apply. If you have an idea for Pokemon, I suggest bringing it to Game Freak itself if you want to see it go into action.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about like a roguelite, like this, like every month they like generate like a region, and you go through it, and like you start it like a different every time, that sort of thing. Because sort of the starter thing is sort of these starter Pokemon are more important, Pikachu is more important, these legendaries are more important, and sort of my idea of Pokemon is that all of them are important. Even the one that looks like a trash can is important, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because everybody has a favorite.
Yeah, everyone's got a favorite, but because of like, these are legendary, so they obviously more important. But it's like, I don't know. I disagree. So I mean, that's just sort of my feelings about it. At some point I might have to put that together, but it's hard to get projects going till your free time, I guess. I've been chatting for long now, and there's dinner waiting for me. So I appreciate you just trying to get my head, so I can get my head around that Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Home business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, cool for having me on. Cool to chat with you.
Thanks for coming on too.
Yeah. See you around.
All
Bye.
right. See ya.
Wow, we got another boy.
Yeah, Dingy Bell Jr., right? What's up?
Yeah.
Also,
Hey.
is he alive?
Oh, hi.
What's up, Deadpool?
Hi. So how is everyone?
We're doing pretty good.
Swell.
I should probably go get a water bottle because I'm sweating in this hoodie. Actually, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Cool.
Colin, take over for me.
I guess while Phantom does that, I'll mention my opinions on the national decks, which is like, I mean, I think I've mentioned before, I'm not really a big Pokemon player. I've always just kind of like, I get pretty heavy burnout actually from playing a Pokemon game. Like, I'll get into one and then I'll have to like take like a 5-year break before I play the next one.
I think I used to be big into it, then dropped out about when Black and White came out. I dropped out. I just didn't really like it
Yeah,
as much.
no, it's exactly what happened. I played Heart Gold and was like, wow, this is badass. And then I started playing Black, and I'm like, maybe next time.
Yeah, like I was like, what happened to everything I liked about Soul Silver and Heart Gold? Like they were good, and then I was like, I feel like there's something missing from this. But
I mean, generally, I mean, my opinion on the whole national dex thing is that like, as shitty as it is to say, because like I do think, you know, I do think to some degree, hang on, I got blocked on Twitter. That's pretty funny. It's a whole stupid thing. But no, my thing is that it's one of those things where like it really does suck that we're losing like not all, but like a good sizable chunk. It's like half, I believe.
We don't know
Or
yet.
at least a little bit more than half. But at the same time, I don't know. It's kind of one of the, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that I think was just bound to happen at some point. Because even in other series, like Digimon has been like cutting back on the roster of like.
isn't the new Yokai doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, Yokai Watch has like 108 or something like that. Yokai, but Yokai Watch 3 had like 700. And but they're adding more in later. But it's like supposedly is that the word is that they didn't announce that Yokai were being cut until the day the game came out, and then they also talked about that they're updating it.
Well, at the same time, I've got to commend Game Freak for one thing. At least they told us months in advance instead of waiting until launch or afterwards to say, "Hey, by the way, we cut a bunch."
Yeah.
I feel mixed because at the same time, this could have been avoided a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if Pokemon makes a lot of money, I don't know why they don't have a development team very much. It seems like a really weird decision, but
I was thinking about that before the stream started, and I was let me pause the game just to at least try to get my thoughts together. But when I was thinking about it before the stream started, I was like, because it also doesn't make sense that you have this multi-million, almost billion-dollar franchise, and probably already is in the billions, maybe franchise Game Freak only has like
much in the billions, cool.
Yeah, and Game Freak has only 148 employees, and I'm like, how did you not?
You know, there's different projects, so there's different teams. So that team for Pokemon is probably 70.
Yeah,
or less.
Because they have two main teams. There's Team Gear, which works on things that are not Pokemon, original projects, and then there's Team Pokemon, which works on Pokemon. But even then, the Pokemon team wasn't all working. They weren't all working on Sword and Shield, because the whole point of Let's Go was to be like a research project for them. Pokemon Let's Go is meant to be a research project because this is their first time developing a mainline Pokemon game on the Switch. So it's their way of figuring out how the game works, how the console works, and what can they do. and then
yeah, and also to
right.
do HD development, because I don't think Game Freak has much experience in HD bar Let's Go.
Right. Yeah. In terms of like I guess in terms of for Pokemon, no, like they've never developed them themselves have never developed a console Pokemon game. Although it's just been Genius Sorority who did like Battle Revolution, I believe Stadium as well. And I think maybe like I could check their page right now actually. But anyways, the point is still being that there's never been a mainline game, and Let's Go was that point of let's do our research to figure out how this console works, and then apply it to Sword and Shield, because Let's Go, the base of Let's Go is also used for Sword and Shield, but it's clearly expanded upon. They're doing more with it. It's not just a simple remake.
The biggest problem is there's only a year between those games, and they're meant to expand it, so something had to give if they were doing that.
Well, the thing was that Sword and Shield started development right after Sun and Moon. So it's been in development for 3 years.
3 years? Damn.
It's been in development for 3 years. So, based upon what they've said in their own interviews with Pokemon.com. So, the fact that, maybe they shouldn't have done Let's Go at all. But it's like, if they don't do Let's Go, then they have less research on how the console works. Because then Sword and Shield truly is their first time experience with it. And then if there's just that first time experience, things could either go wrong, or it may not be as big as they want it to be for a new generation title. But the fact that they did do Let's Go, it's a good thing for them. But it's also like then it also comes to the fact of now we're having Pokemon too close to each other. It also just reaffirms the concept or the idea that Pokemon is a yearly franchise, when it's not always a yearly franchise. Because
it used to skip some years, so it did, or if it would just release spin-offs.
Yeah, like 2005 was Emerald, then Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out 2007. Then after Diamond and Pearl, we had Pokemon Platinum in 2009, and then since 2009, we had a Pokemon game every year until 2014, and in 2015 we didn't have a Pokemon game. 2016 we had Sun and Moon, and then 2017 we have Ultra Sun and Moon.
Then Let's Go.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield.
Right. So
it's weird because it's good that they did Let's Go for the research, but at the same time that also created the problem of not everyone's working on the new Pokemon as well, so that's going to run into problems. Right. And then if they did that and didn't work on Let's Go, then they could easily have mucked it up.
Yeah. And then just to go back to quickly to how you're saying, they have more, that they need more workers. Level 5 has, from what I'm hearing, Level 5 has more workers than Game Freak. But in addition, it's I think first off, I'll read that in a minute. I won't forget it. But it's sort of effective. I think Nintendo developers, at least, if they're not helping them, they should be, or at least everybody. Because the fact that this is a new generation, I think there should be all hands on deck for Sword and Shield. They shouldn't be cutting things off. Everybody should be on what's honestly the most important game for them to be releasing. Not to diminish their other projects, but it's you gotta evaluate what's more important. And that multi-million-dollar franchise, almost $1 billion franchise, is I know it sounds messed up to say, but that's more important right now. It's what's with the bigger audience. And it's but then,
I mean, it's not as if they can just delay the thing, because obviously there's the trading card games, the animes, all that. Probably the anime episodes are already in production at the moment for the new season.
Because Game Freak also has their recruitment page up as well, so it's not like they're not looking for workers, but it's also do people want to work at Game Freak? Are people looking to work at Game Freak? And then at that point, it's a bigger question of that kind of expands upon what's going on at Game Freak. But honestly, I think not for me not to go out too far. It's from what they have right now, from the workers that they have right now, they should be focusing on mostly Sword and Shield to try to do as much as they can. And again, we still haven't seen all of the entire game, so there could be a lot more things that we haven't seen. Like I know a lot of people are pointing out like the tree with the bad graphics are like in the first trailer of the game. What was it? And when they revealed it in the first Pokemon Direct of this year, like people were pointing out how I've only seen it recently. If it was pointed out before, negate what I'm about to say. But what was it like? Like the walking, like, have you seen the first trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? When they first revealed it.
Yeah, I ended up watching it.
Yeah, you know how when they go.
Actually.
You know how when they go into they segue into the first town and like it has like the little brick bridge on the sides.
Yeah.
It doesn't connect. People were pointing out that just recently now pointing out that it doesn't connect all the way to the ground. But this is also the first time we're seeing it, and it's also game development, not footage, not final. It's like I understand that. Yeah. I understand that looks weird, like, and also like the Wingull animations. Although, like, since Pokemon Emerald, that's been described how the Pokemon works. That doesn't mean it doesn't look any less weird. So it's like people are bringing up all these aspects of the the graphics, of like the way the graphics looks like, which in some places it doesn't look as great as other places. It should look polished all around. But people are kind of portraying it in a way that it doesn't make it ruins the overall experience. For some people, graphics are more important. For me, in a game, graphics
couldn't care less about graphics. I just want a good Pokemon game.
Yeah, that's true. It's like if the game is still good, even with some bad graphics here and there, should those bad graphics ruin the overall experience, or should you taint the outlook of the entire game just because of these few minor things that we're focusing on now? Because the bigger issue right now is that not all Pokemon are in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a big problem because everyone has a favorite Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates a slight problem. Just trying to think of something. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, graphics-wise, is a lot of games don't look that great graphically when they get shown off in directs and trailers at first, or at E3 sometimes. Usually they improve, and we've got till, November? So we could see some improvements graphics-wise. I mean, remember how everyone called the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 really ugly at Game Awards?
Yeah.
And then that looks fine now. It doesn't look as bad as it used to.
Yeah, it still has a little frame drops, but it doesn't look as bad.
It looks pretty fine actually. So it does. It looks pretty cool.
Right, and with Daemon X Machina is another example. Like they had that demo to test stuff out. It did definitely drop frames in quite a few places, but they're also the game comes out September 14th, and it's like they're still trying to work on getting roughing out all the kinks. They're trying to make it as good as it can be. So even Pokemon is in the same vein. If we're treating these games one way, why are we not also treating Pokemon that same way, where we're seeing the footage now, they're releasing in a few months, but it's like we all know that they still have time to work on the games. And there's also patches, which although I do think that the game should be polished from the get go, but still we at least have the patches to help mitigate the issues.
The problem is that while it should be polished, nothing can be ever ridiculously polished where there would be no bugs.
Yeah, sadly.
So obviously, patches have to exist for that.
So
humans are very fallible.
What are some of your other opinions on the Pokemon Sword and Shield in terms of the missing of a national dex, or in terms of other aspects? What are you expecting from the game? What are your thoughts on Dynamax replacing the other features? Do you think other features will be removed or expanded upon, like Pokemon and Me or something like that?
I don't know. I didn't actually watch much Treehouse gameplay. I watched a bit of it while I was on my phone doing stuff. But Dynamaxing looks pretty cool, so it does. I felt like the only thing I don't like is that it basically they've just made Mega Evolutions and Z moves just toss them to the side, so they are, but it's not the first time they've had this big new thing and then the next game it never comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Or isn't important anymore, or doesn't do much. Gameplay wise, I just want the game to be fun. I want the rivals to be pretty good. And I want some type of Battle Frontier thing that is just good to enjoy, that just some post-game content that makes the game replayable.
Right.
In a sense. I think the raids might do that, because the raids sound pretty fun, being able to team up with friends and fight some of the dynamics of Pokemon.
Right. I don't remember what interview it was. It might have been Famitsu as well, but they did mention something about post game, or like how long, somewhat in terms of like how long the game would be. I'll try to find it for you.
Thank you. No, yeah, the one thing I usually like playing through Pokemon. I still haven't beaten Moon though. I need to go back to that and Let's Go as well. But I used to be all the Pokemon games, and I liked some of the post game stuff when it was expanded upon. Usually when you had versions of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun just playing. They have a fun post game.
Hello. Hello.
Did he die?
I don't know if I died or he died, but
I think he died.
Hello. You back?
And he's gone.
Okay, hold on. I have no idea what's going on now. Hold on, let me leave the voice chat and come back.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, I have no idea what happened there. I just opened Silicon Era and then everything died.
Oh.
Well, I mean the stream is still going. We don't have any dropped frames at all, but Discord died. So, let's see. Was there anything about post game? Okay.
I'm curious though to see what starter Pokemon are they gonna get rid of.
Oh.
Like, what Pokemon isn't gonna make it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the unfortunate thing that'll happen?
I can definitely see that, because right now all we know is that Charizard's in. So, but what about? Oh, excuse me. What about everything else? Because normally the starters, you can't even capture the starters in the wild, anyways.
Yeah, you never usually could, except Let's Go.
Yeah.
But who knows? They could put them in the wild, or you just get them as a free gift.
So, so in the US Gamer,
I'd probably say due to the fact of Let's Go that the Gen 1 start, the Gen 1 Pokemon, the majority of them will be in the game. I'm sure we can.
Yeah, I'm expecting it, but I hope not, because people they love pushing out Gen 1, but it's also like I'm surprised that we're seeing so many Pokemon from other generations. Like
Yeah, I mean, people keep knocking on how Gen 1 is the one that's overrepresented, but they usually do add other ones. It's just people like the Gen 1s a bit more in terms of a casual audience. It's what people remember from their childhood.
Alright. So to go back to the post game, what was it? The US Gamer in the US Gamer article, they asked, what do you envision the end game of single player post game content is going to be like in terms of what people can do after they beat the campaign? A lot of people want to play a little bit longer, so what do you plan to do? Are you looking at additional updates or anything like that? And then Omori said, I can't really say too much, of course, but I do want to say it's not just a story and then you're done with the game. We've got a lot of content for players to enjoy after they finish the story. Also, for players who are really big fans of the battle system and the competitive scene, there's going to be a lot for them to engage with, which they normally don't talk about that in terms of like, they normally don't really hark on the competitive aspect. Like they host online tournaments and stuff like that, and like the championships.
They host the big tournaments, so they do as well.
Yeah, so this is definitely they're doing something differently this time. It seems like.
I think they're trying to expand the game's life cycle.
Right.
Keep a competitive scene alive, basically, and just expand the game's life cycle a little bit. They can just update as they go along.
Right.
But no, the post game sounds good, and from the way that sounds, it seems they might just bring something similar to the Battle Frontier or that back.
I hope they bring something like it, or like, because on the Galar map, like there's this whole area that's like that looks completely different from the rest of the region. So maybe if that's just a champion area, that'd be a little bit surprising. But there's clearly a lot more there to explore, and that they're doing something with. Yeah. So and of course we we don't know yet, but like there's, from what we can only assume, we can only hope that it'll be promising right now.
I'm surprised they haven't revealed who the evil team is yet.
Yeah, they've only had they didn't show Team Skull until like, hold up, I'd have to look that up now. What was the first like Team Skull trailer? Because I remember I was like, where's the, we were waiting a while to find out what the evil team was. What the hell? Why am I signed out? Uh-oh, YouTube's acting weird.
So, Sun and Moon released, what was it, November of 2016?
Yeah, but when did we find out about when did we get the first Team Skull trailer?
We got a trailer in August.
For that show, Team Skull?
Supposedly, yeah. Give me 2 minutes, just need time to...
Yeah, August 11th, it seems. Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to do this, but I'm also doing voice chat on phone, which is probably not a good idea. You can hear me alright?
I hear you alright.
Cool. Yeah, basically, it was the 11th.
Yeah, okay.
And nothing else before that. Probably it leaked or something, but... Oh yeah, because Coro and that usually leak these things like a week before.
Right. So, we'll probably find out.
So we probably knew about it a little bit beforehand, but they officially got revealed about, 3 months before the game came out?
Yeah.
So we might not see them till then.
Alright, so, it has been very fun talking to you. I guess I'm gonna try to move forward into different things. Not that anybody else is in the voice chat, but there's other stuff that I want to touch upon, or like the questions in the chat that we've gotten so far. Alright, so it was great talking to you.
Thanks.
Alright, what's up? Hey, Colin, are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm just typing email.
Oh, okay. All right. So from a while ago, Schnitzel from Chow sent us a super what's it called? A super, gosh. Oh man, a super chat. There we go. God.
Super chat.
Yeah, sent us a $2 super chat saying if they have to overwork devs for no national decks for me, which yeah, I can understand that. I think
I don't know.
I don't think they can.
I think the claims of Game Freak's being lazy, they already made the models and the animation, is like kind of missing like 70% of how a video game is made.
Alright. It's not just like
it's very weird. I've seen this like sentiment actually pop up in the Source Gaming chat involving other games where it's like the models are simple / already done. How could the game take so long to make?
It's more than just that stuff.
Like Pokemon, and it's like the fucking game has to be made.
It's more than just.
There's like environments.
All right. So.
It's totally possible that for the Switch they are not using the same exact engine, or at least they have to rebuild a lot of the engine.
Come on, from Let's Go
from
or
previous Pokemon games.
Oh yeah. And also, this is like their first time working with. Okay, so this is Game Freak's first time working with a console, not counting Pokemon Quest. Let's Go. That's the first one. That's a research project. Level 5, I don't know if they've made a console game before, or if it's just like the Yokai Watch team of Level 5 has made a console game before. I can check their games. Let's see. They did Ni no Kuni.
Yeah.
Okay, so they do have knowledge of working with the console. So that they're different from Game Freak in the sense that we had Dark Cloud. Okay, so they've been working on console since the PlayStation 2. So it's different from Game Freak, where like they've barely ever had any experience with a home console. So people were constantly making comparisons that of Yokai Watch to Pokemon Sword and Shield, whereas like it doesn't look as pretty, which of course that's the art style is subjective, and Yokai Watch is going for one thing where it's yokai set in like the real world, or like a fictional version of Japan, but still meant to be Japan, and then Pokemon is set into with its own world that it creates like from scratch, even though it's inspired by other places. It's more fantasy in its environments as well.
Yeah.
So it's like people are like earlier people were calling out Game Freak was like, hey, why does the game look like this? In comparison to a developer that's already had this console experience. But then Yokai Watch 4 comes out, and then it also has its own issues with supposedly having like frame rate drop. So it's like not even what you were comparing it to wasn't perfect. Even not saying that not saying that Pokemon shouldn't be better, like should definitely be better, but it's kind of ironic.
There's plenty of things that like that dinged on, like they definitely don't have a grasp on things like optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean the 3DS titles kind of run like shit, and like the visuals in the visuals in Sword and Shield could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Like all things considered. At the same time, though, I don't know. It seems like I don't know. I think this is gonna be one of those like flash in the pan things that I think people are gonna be upset about now.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the game comes out, they're just gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah.
But
So let me. Oh god, this one's already back. Okay. So.
I mean, it's no Doom Eternal, so I mean.
God damn it, you and your damn Doom. All right, so.
Yeah. Whoa! What the fuck just happened?
I forgot that in order to prevent my earphones from falling, I wrapped the cord around my neck, but I pulled my chair back.
That sounds like the worst idea.
It keeps falling otherwise. What can I do?
Loop the wire around your ear.
Why would I do that?
That's what people do. In fact, you're supposed to like most like earphone companies like recommend like actually putting in the earphone like upside down and then looping the cable around like the top of your ear.
What?
Yeah.
What the? No, it just keeps falling out.
Get bigger little
oh well.
earphone little plugs.
Anyways, so
Are you using like the bog standard fucking Apple ones?
no, I'm using like the ones where it has like that little like the gummy thing like around the actual thing that you put in your ear.
Yeah, get a larger one.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna be changing gears. So actually, I should have set my camera back to what it was. Can I do Control Z? Oh, I can't do Control Z. Okay. Oh well. So let me just put myself. Oh god. Let me put myself back over here, back in this corner. So, we're going to go to. Let me open up my files because there's an image that I want to talk about specifically into like some of the arguments against Sword and Shield, and some of them are valid. But I wanted to test something out live on stream. So we'll do it live.
Stream, fuck.
All right. So let's see. Can I open this? There I can. Okay, here we go. So, there's this image that's been going around. And it's like a whole bunch of arguments towards what's it called? What's the name called? Sword and Shield. Right? My memory is terrible. So, one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was argument 4. We'll go through the other arguments later. But I wanted to focus on argument 4 first off. Because it says it's talking about Pokemon Bank. And I'll just read it off for you. Home is a fee. If anyone's familiar with bank already, they know that you must pay a fee every year. Hold on, I'm gonna be blocking some of it, so yeah. Oops. Actually. Oh yeah, here it is. They know that you must pay a fee every year to keep your Pokemon in the cloud. I'm going to completely disregard the fact that they used to claim that Bank was the one true solution to transferring Pokemon and simply state this. Bank itself is already overpriced for what it's worth. The size of your individual Pokemon is about 1 kilobyte. Consider each Pokemon to be a template text file containing all the information. Which, you know what? I don't doubt all of that. I don't doubt all of that. As a service, maybe it's just for, the servers or some shit like that. I think you should pay for it. Maybe like $1. I don't know if it should be $4, but that's part of it. But I can definitely understand the argument that you're paying too much for it was just basically a text file, like a little notepad or something like that. I can get that. Essentially, if Game Freak let me legitimately store all my Pokemon on Google Drive, I'd be able to store 15,360 Pokemon all for free. No one ever brought this up because we assumed that at least Game Freak would be keeping them safe. But remember, if you forget to pay your subscription, your Pokemon will be deleted from their servers, which I don't believe that, because when I didn't pay before, I don't know if there's a time limit for that you have to pay, but I have not played my 3DS since for maybe like a year or two now. And specifically in Pokemon like Sun and Moon, and I didn't get Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so it's not like I transferred Pokemon in that either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3DS, and I actually charged it. I had trouble with charging it because this thing is old, at least like maybe 6 years old. I'm gonna take my 3DS and we're going to pay for Pokemon Bank live on stream and see if my Pokemon are actually in there. So let me get my SD card and shit. Oh no. Where's my SD card? Alright, here's my copy of Pokemon Moon. Taking out Smash. Taking out Smash, this old game that I don't need to play anymore. I'm putting in Pokemon Moon. We're gonna test it live. Okay, now I'm gonna have to find my SD card because that's where Pokemon Bank is. Pokemon Bank is downloaded on that. So give me a minute. Whew.
Logitech is having a PC gaming sale, and I'm kind of not tempted at all, but I mean, it's cool. Just cool, I guess.
Where the fuck are my SD cards? Oh man. Oh wait, is it under? No, it's not under that. Where the hell are they? Oh, damn it! I gotta pick up my computer. That's one.
Oh shit! I didn't know Logitech made a fucking wireless of their weird PlayStation 2-esque controller. That's neat.
Woo. There's two. Where's the micro SD that goes with it though? Oh, that's in my phone. I gotta take the SD card out of my. Man. That's right.
Out of your fucking phone.
All right, so I gotta take my micro SD card out of my phone. That's where that is.
Okay.
Okay.
What are you doing?
So I used the micro SD card that I use for my Switch, for my 3DS. I had a SD card that needs that has a micro SD card, like the SD card adapter and shit. But the thing is that because I stopped using my 3DS, I just took that SD card, that micro SD card, and put it on my phone for extra space.
Okay.
So now we're gonna be doing some tech work live on stream to take out my 16 gigabyte SD card, and then putting it on.
When are you gonna hack your 3DS so you can stream 3DS games?
I don't have a new 3DS. I just have the normal 3DS.
You can do it on the normal 3DS now too.
What? For real?
Yeah, you can only do the top screen, but yeah, it's possible.
Oh snap! Okay, I mean, I already have it. That word that I won't say on stream, but yeah, I already have it hacked. So
I think it's fine to be like. I mean, as long as we're not promoting illegal activity.
Yeah, don't
do that.
Don't do that.
Even the fucking the great Ace Attorney streams we do is using a legitimate copy of Ace Attorney.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Mainly because you can't actually use the fan translation with a pirated copy. But yes, it's a legitimate like eShop copy.
All right. Oh boy, now I gotta wait for my DS to fully start up because it does have all that stuff on it.
Oh my god.
And it takes like a good minute or two.
It's also an original 3DS, which means that it's probably fucking dog slow now because Nintendo loved to smash that system's speed with the
I also haven't system updated, and I heard that there was one.
There's a couple. There's been a couple.
Oh boy, you're probably gonna be saying
what's funny?
For like a while.
When you hack the new 3DS, you can actually tell it to be running at like full speed all the time.
Was that again?
And the home menu is like so much fucking faster when it's like overclocked.
Oh boy.
It's like nothing takes any time to load. It just immediately is like, oh shit.
So what you guys saying in the chat? Virgil was saying that's false. You can recover the Pokemon from the bank, but not upload more. Yeah, I can't put more until you pay the subscription again. Okay. No, but they're saying that if you don't pay, they're deleted, which I don't believe to be true. So let's just test it, because some people did say that they actually did pay for the subscription again after not paying for a while, and then it was deleted. But that never happened to me. So let's test it out, because if this is trying to make that argument, there's a fault to you in your argument right there, and it could just be some rare freak accidents, and that still sucks nonetheless. But it's like when you're trying to portray it as, hey, if you don't do this thing, it's like guaranteed that your Pokemon are gone. There's an issue. But again, that doesn't diminish all the arguments that you're making. So that's why we're gonna go through all of them. We're just going through this one first. So I'm just gonna rip out my battery real quick and do it the other way, where I turn it off without the SD card in, put the SD card in, and then it loads. So, gosh, there we go. So it's starting up now. Okay, so put it in sleep, put the SD card in, home menu. That should work now. There we go. So here we got all the software. We got Nintendo oh god, you can't see this, too bright. How do I turn on the brightness on this thing? Oh yeah, that's right here. Okay. Can you guys see it now? There we go. So we got Badge Arcade, YouTube. Where's Pokemon Bank at? Edge. It's all the footnote. Pokemon Bank, there we go. Utopia. Oh, I deleted all my, all that stuff. Oh, God. So let me just make sure.
I'm getting like hot Vietnam hearing all this 3DS names, like 3DS sounds.
Alright, so we have to update Pokemon Bank. Why update? Let's update it real quick. Download now. Hopefully this doesn't take too damn long. Actually, hold up. Let me connect to the 5G Wi-Fi.
I almost never have my my new 3DS connected to Wi-Fi unless I do the Great Ace Attorney streams. So I just like.
How come?
What? Like because I don't want it because the way the 3DS streaming works is that you gotta have like the fucking best Wi-Fi connection for it to be stable. And so I'd rather it connect to my the Wi-Fi antenna on my PC as opposed to the just my general router.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. So. Wait, God, my hands are like so big now compared to.
So big.
Oh, so I can't even connect to my 5G one. Thanks. I deleted it for nothing. 75. Can't say my Wi-Fi password out loud, or else you guys gonna start following me. So I looked it up and it says there is meant to be a grace period before deletion happens, but I can't find out how long it is because deletion only seems to happen to some people. So if there is a grace period, that's still bad. There should not be a grace period. But considering the fact that I have not played for like 2 years, I think I'm like the perfect candidate to find out whether it's still there or not. And if my Pokemon aren't there, we're gonna have some problems because I got like a 6 IV Noibat in there. and I know I spent like a damn near 10 hours to get some of these 6 IV Pokemon. Oh man, what else you guys got to talk about in chat? So what is everybody that's actually watching the stream and in the chat, what are your thoughts on the national decks? Like, and I mostly want to hear from people that don't like the fact that there isn't the full decks. I'm not looking for evasive aces, but I'm looking for people who are like actively against So, oh, what the fuck did I do? Oh shit. Uh-oh.
What?
Luma configuration activated.
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Just get out of it.
How do I get out?
Hit the home button.
No, I got out of my system settings and it just activated it.
Hit the home button.
I'm hitting the home button.
A bunch of times.
What am I supposed to do?
I just fucking told you, hit the home button or hit B a bunch of times.
B.
What, you're in like that little menu where it's like, oh, fucking
Press
debugger
A to select, start to save. Some shit like that.
Just hit the home button.
I'm hitting the home button and nothing's happening. I'm saying that. And B isn't doing anything either. Do I start?
Yeah,
Oh.
just restart. I guess.
Imagine if I just break my 3DS on stream. There we go. Oh, what the fuck? My themes came back out of nowhere suddenly. Okay. Alright. So let's update this shit. So you want to talk about Muse Dash?
What?
You want to talk about Muse Dash?
Not really.
Okay. Press power for since I'm not doing that. An error occurred. Oh boy. Do I have to system update my shit? Internet settings, global settings, system update. This did not go as planned.
You fucking goof.
Yeah.
I need to go look at I should go try to find that fucking controller. Shit. Now I gotta. Now I want to see it.
What the fuck do you mean you couldn't connect to the access point? Thanks, Schnitzel. Still can't get freaking chatter out of my head whenever I hear that. Just his voice. Okay, there we go. It's updating now. Unable to update the system. What the fuck? Oh boy. So this definitely could have gone way better as planned. I mean, it's also not morning anymore. It's 1 p.m. So I could come back, but I do want to do this now on stream. Anyways, okay, so while we're trying to do this, let's just talk about the other stuff on this chart. So let's see, we have argument 1, and let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay, let me just zoom out a little bit then. There. Argument 1. You can't expect them to work on all of that. The dust has settled, and it's time for civil arguments. A case for the quality of the Pokemon franchise, version 2. You can't expect them to work on all of that. Game Freak is a small indie company. Okay, first off, anybody who says that they're an indie company has no idea what they're talking about. They're not an indie company. they just don't have a lot of workers. They only have like 143. Pokemon is effectively the largest multi-billion-dollar company on the planet, beating the likes of Star Wars, Hello Kitty, and Disney in merchandising. Yes, true, of course, that's a fact. Game Freak has been reusing the same assets given to them by the Creatures Inc. since 2013. All of the Pokemon are exactly the same from X and Y to Sword and Shield in model, texture, and animation, which is not true. But let's talk about it. The work to be done is minimal. Okay, so Game Freak has been reusing the same assets. They have been reusing the same models. Yes, that's true. From Let's Go. There was new textures for some of the Pokemon, which that is true. That there is new textures. I don't know, but Sword and Shield looks to have the same textures from X and Y. Now, what they did do is that they had, which isn't necessarily affecting the work that you have to do for the Pokemon itself, but they did indeed add what's it called, dynamic lighting to the franchise, which is something new. So true, the X one might have a high amount of polygons. Does that mean that they just need to upgrade the rest of the textures? Yeah, they would need to either upgrade the rest of the textures, or it's that they already have those high res textures, or maybe they're compressing them so that they could have fit on the 3DS, possibly something like that. So yeah, that's of course that's a fact that they've been using the same models. Textures, from Let's Go, they did update the textures. In terms of Generation 8, Sword and Shield, I don't know how many, if they did new textures. I know from like the first trailer that we saw, there was definitely that texture was pretty much basically the same. It's kind of like the same, except with dynamic lighting now. So if we've seen another instance of Pikachu, I don't know, but okay, yeah. Switch isn't updating. I mean, Switch isn't updating. The 3DS isn't updating. So basically, let's move on. What's else to say? In terms of animation, that's not completely true. Because from Sun and Moon, they added walking animations. So from X and Y to Sword and Shield, it's not just the exact same. Now, that's also including the fact that No, never mind. I was gonna say that also doesn't include Pokemon and Me, but from Pokemon and Me, I'm pretty sure animations from X and Y of Pokemon that already existed put into Pokemon and Me, that was already what is it? hold up. That's already like different. So, hold on, my bad. Got an itch. So, from like X and Y to Sun and Moon, there's new Pokemon being added, but there's also, I don't know if we can gonna count like the overworld Pokemon, because for Sun and like for Oras, their Wingull walks around by crawling, like literally crawling. That, and you'll see in what if this time they are designing all of them from the ground up with the intention of making them easily portable to future titles? That way they can start with what's coming to SS and keep bringing more in until it isn't anymore. I don't think so. I think they're still using what's there from X and Y, but just definitely retouching them up. So let me show you this example from Oras. The heck? Hello? YouTube? What's going on? Okay, here we go.
What's poppin'?
Robin?
What's poppin'?
No. Gamer.
I'm actually gonna head off and get some stuff done. I hope the rest of y'all have a swell day.
Gamer.
See ya.
Gamer. Alright. So yeah. If we're talking about like overworld stuff. you should be able to see it though. So like let me move it up a bit. So it's like overworld animations. They definitely move differently. Like for like right here. You see Wingull is actually like crawling like a freaking spider or a crab. That, if we're also going to take into the fact that Pokemon appear in the overworld, I don't think that they're using the exact same models as that they have in battle. But of course, it's clearly definitely some differences being done. Like if Wynot's walking animation in Sword and Shield isn't like its normal walking animation, maybe, I don't know. But in terms of the fact of, also in, what was it, Joe Merrick was pointing out that Pokemon also had animations as well. So let's go, if we go to his Twitter, just so I can show you what I mean. So we have like new intro animations for like when a battle starts, like stuff like this. Of course, it's like an edited animation of like some of the other stuff, but like some of the stuff is like definitely new. And not only that, but like also for Dynamaxing as well. So it's not like although they're using the exact same animations for stuff that they already have, they're also adding in new animations as well. Hold up. So, what if this time but that doesn't make sense. Why make all from the scratch, but being exactly the same? Like, yeah. I already said that. What I don't understand is that how Battle Revolution has better animations than Switch, despite the budget wasn't even close to a mainline game. Because it's not a mainline game where you don't have to focus on a complete game. Not to say that Battle Revolution isn't a complete game, but Battle Revolution isn't the same as building an entire region and not only adding new Pokemon, but you're also having a whole bunch of different character models, having a whole bunch of different areas that you have to go through and stuff like that. It's not the same thing. And areas that you're actually like, looking for Pokemon, it's not the same thing. Battle Revolution has better animations. Yes, it does. And I think I do think Sword and Shield should have as great animations as Battle Revolution does. But you're also ignoring the fact that Battle Revolution also isn't a mainline game, and it doesn't need to focus on what the mainline games focus on completely. So in the fact of the people over at Genius Sorority are focusing mainly on the battle system, but in terms of like, cool, because that's really what Battle Revolution mostly is, just the battles. It's not like an overall expansive adventure. So like the thing, so like when you're not focusing on an entirely new adventure, you're just focusing on like the battle aspects of it, and you're just making that's what you're developing on. Like you have that time to add animations for all of these Pokemon. Now I'm pretty sure Battle Revolution had all 493 Pokemon. I don't think I had anything limited, but because it's not like you're not building a whole entire game. You're not building a whole mainline game, so that comparison, although it's good to make it, there also ignores the fact of what Battle Revolution is and isn't compared to Sword and Shield. So let's move on to the next argument. So they're doing this for the quality of the Pokemon that aren't getting snapped. Fans were also intrigued by Masuda's statement that Game Freak would be focusing on higher fidelity and higher quality animations. This would be a compelling point if it were not blatantly false. As stated before and can be seen within the demos as well as gameplay shows so far, the animations of the Pokemon are exactly the same as past iterations, so what has changed that isn't completely new? They have shown nothing thus far. Well, we've already talked about how they did show new stuff in terms of like the Pokemon animation, the intro battle animation cries, and Dynamax animations. So that's not. Although yeah, they do that attack animation that Squirrel Bunny has, where it just hops up a little, and that's it. That's still carried over from the past games, and that doesn't mean but that doesn't negate the fact that these examples of poor animation, like where there isn't as much animation fidelity as other things, or just because something is being reused, it doesn't still negate the fact that there is new stuff being added in terms of in Sword and Shield. Rad VG. Genius already had like 30 people, which like 3 were animators. They made the game in less than a year, I believe. Still, they managed to make around 400 models and animations. That's true. That is true. Can't argue with that. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can look it up, but. Genius Sonority has 22 employees. And they have previously worked on the Dragon Quest and Pokemon series of video games. They worked on Dragon Quest Swords, the Max Queen, and Tower of Mirrors. Their first Pokemon game was Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, which had limited amounts of Pokemon in it. And then Battle Revolution had, like, I think I'm pretty sure all 493. So, they clearly know what they're doing. I'm not that if I go into all of that stuff, we're gonna be sitting here for even longer. So I'm just gonna ask you instead, because you know what you're talking about. It seems so far. Does XD Gale of Darkness use the same models? I mean, does Battle Revolution use the same models of Pokemon that already existed that were in XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum? Are those models the same going forward, or did they remake all of the models, or just add some new animations on it? Also, what was the development time on Battle Revolution? The game was first announced by Nintendo President Satoru Iwata at a Nintendo marketing event in Japan on June 7th, 2006. And then it came out that same year. So how long was the game actually in development for? Because it was announced in 2006 and came out in 2006. Let's see. Okay, so we don't actually know. I guess we don't actually know when it started development. But given the benefit of the doubt, let's just say that it started development in, it started development that same year at least, maybe. Some of the BR models were the same from Stadium 1 and 2. Didn't Coliseum XD had all the Pokemon models, but few were used on story mode. I think you can still use them if you get GBA models. That was Coliseum XD, not very. So, wait, so all the Pokemon are in. So all the Pokemon are in XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum, but they're not using the story mode. But those models are still there. So if those, okay, no. So from Coliseum and XD, they don't use the same models as Better Revolution. So that's a fair point. Honestly, fair point. So let's go back. Okay. So higher quality wasn't observed in Pokemon species. No, that text. Where's the effort being put? So. Okay, yeah. So that Score Bunny hop animation. That definitely is pretty lazy. It's the fact of that they're just carrying over the attack, right? Let's also remember that it also has a physical attack, not physical attack. Okay, actually, no. So from the gameplay, I didn't see it I'm not sure where. From what I saw at Treehouse, the only attack that it had was double kick, but for like quick attack, I don't remember if they use quick attack. Does it have? What's the attack animation for that? Because I get that double kick doesn't have a new animation. I get that, but also. If it has a physical attack animation, we know it has a special attack animation, you're also kind of forgetting the fact that it doesn't change the fact that double kick animation is still lazy, but we're acting like it doesn't have new things to it at that point. So, well, it certainly isn't the NPCs either. From there, we see the NPC still walking in a grid. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie, that was bad. It walks in a straight line. It stiff turns, like it turns around like a robot. That's weird. Also, okay, so yeah, this tree thing. Okay. So this tree thing. Yeah, the tree is textured like fucking garbage. That's not a lie. It definitely looks like fucking hot garbage. But the other areas of the game don't look like this, and like of course they should be fixing it, right? They should be fixing it, and like that's not to say just it looks good in one area, it looks bad in one area. It still should look good it should look good all around. It shouldn't look bad in all areas. But a lot of people are harkening on this tree thing, as if like the game. Remember, game's still in development. The development footage is not final. They have that time to change this. So, and I get that can be an excuse for a lot of things. Like, the fact of, you're only like saying that the game is still in development, things can change. That can be an excuse that's used for everything. I honestly do think that this will be changed though, because again, it doesn't make sense for trees to look good in one area and then for them to also look bad in another area. It's like, of course, it's clearly not balanced. Graphical quality is clearly isn't being balanced right now. And again, that's just in a game that isn't completely finished, although it's close to being completed. Daemon X Machina comes out this year, still has frame drops. That can that be improved upon? Probably, and it probably will it probably will be improved upon when the game comes out. Not overall. Because, if there's too much things going on, I can't help it sometimes. Especially with the Switch hardware. But if that, like something like this, it can be changed. So this, although I do understand what they're saying, it does look bad. I'm not saying it doesn't look bad. It definitely does look bad. But to use it as like, a lot of people are using it at a point like, wow, I can't believe that we've gone from XD Gale of Darkness looking good to the trees going backwards in graphical quality. It's like, it's kind of a dumb argument to make. But be real, do you think GF will fix that tree if they didn't fix a glitch that could break your save file and SOI for over a month? Oh, you're talking about the Lumbio City save glitch. Okay, so yes, I do think that they will fix it, because in other areas of the game, they did change it. They did change a little bit of the textures, and let me show you what I mean. So in let me change the so let's go right here. So in the initial Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer. Also, another thing. Oh, whoa, hold up. People were pointing this out as well. Like how right here, does it capture my? Let me just change it to capture cursor. Okay. People were also pointing out how this right here, it's not connected to the floor, and then also forgetting that right here it literally says game footage not final. Oh, you can't see it. Whoops. Hold up. Yeah, it looks says game footage not final right there. Like, I get that it looks bad, like stuff like that is like if you point it out, yeah, it looks bad, but in the overall of things, when you're playing the game, I don't think you would notice it. But again, let's just move on. So, hold up, let's go right here. Okay, yeah. So this home area. Let me just make sure it's. So it's HD, right? Let me put it in 1080p. Pokemon. Here we go. To me, now it's of course gonna be hard to tell, because because the positioning, the lighting, and stuff like that. I can get that. But if there's a bigger, okay, here's a closer screenshot. It's not, of course, and it's not in good quality though. That's the thing that sucks, right? So here's this screenshot right here. It looks the same, honestly. It actually does look the same, looking at it. But it does also look like there was some things changed, maybe a little bit. Completely hard to tell. Maybe I should use like the city area. Like, was it the trees in this? Hold up. Yeah, like right here. And then what's it called? Where is that screenshot? Do I still have it? Okay, so I'm gonna have to re-download it. Man, where is it? Press website. Is it sunny outside now? Okay, it's not raining anymore. All right, that's good. So like in some areas, okay, yeah, in some areas like it doesn't look like there's a substantial change between what was it the first time we saw the game and then like the screenshots that we're getting of it later. It doesn't look like there's a substantial change. There might be, but it doesn't look like there's completely a substantial change. But I do think that they do. I do think that they will change it, because that's something that's obviously glaring and looks so different from the rest of the game. Where like the other trees look good, but this one doesn't. Well, not just this one, but like other trees in the wild area don't. So if they don't change it, what the fuck are you thinking? Should they change it? Hell fucking yes. How I could ignore all this if they bring back the old Pokemon event side quest. Do you mean like the looker stuff? Wait, hold on. If they bring back the old Pokemon event side quest. That's okay. That's literally a bad mindset to have, because if they add more, so basically what you're saying is that if they add more stuff to it, then I can ignore all the other faults. It's like that's not a good thing to have, because a good mindset to have, because that kind of ignores the fact that's one of the things that a lot of people complain about, that we let Game Freak get away with this shit. But it's like, no, it's just like, has this ever been an issue before? And it's like, no, because like one of the things that we don't, it's like from what I've seen, we don't really hark on them for this type of stuff because it doesn't really look bad, or like it's not completely noticeable. And also, this is also like their first, was it mainline game on a console, not counting if you also count Let's Go. This is their second mainline, but still, it's like this is their first time doing it. I'm not saying that this is excusable, but in terms of like, we haven't been able to like really critique them in terms of like the shit that they do, in this type of way, because it hasn't been like as glaringly obvious. I know, but I can understand the lack of Pokemon if they put efforts in the region and stuff. Yeah, okay, so basically, let's say if all the Pokemon are still in the game, right? If all the Pokemon are still in the game, if the glaring, like, if graphical issues like this were still in the game, that doesn't make them non-issues. But because of the fact that there is not one thing in the game, now let's point out all the issues that are in the game now, because the one thing that we wanted and that we think that should be in the game isn't in the game. That's kind of, you do realize why people can call that nitpicky, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't have cared. But now that one thing isn't in there, you're choosing to care about all these other things that you didn't point out as issues before. Even if they were issues before, you never harked on Game Freak for it. Do you see why that's an issue? Because now it really does seem like you're letting Game Freak get away with shit. Argument 3. Why does it even matter? It's a new experience. Use a new Pokemon, dummy. You are shooting yourself in the foot there. We are all aware of the Kanto pattern that's been going on as a reason. Charizard and Mewtwo get 2 Mega Evolutions. Santaloop Forest is in memorial to Viridian Forest. Alola's Hole is being built around Kanto alone. And of the other Japanese regions, I disagree with that. I would disagree with that, because literally Maya City is based upon Johto. Maya City is based upon Johto. And of course, yeah, I get that. They have the Kanto Pokemon, right? But Alola also has its own identity, separate from Kanto. There's Kanto Pokemon. There's the Kanto, Alola forms of Kanto Pokemon. That's probably because 20th anniversary. Pay respects to where you came from. But even then, Alola still has its own identity. So I disagree with that. Masuda didn't say how many Pokemon will appear in the Galar region Pokédex, but it sounds like everything from the Pokemon Let's Go games, the original 151 and Alola region, will appear in Sword and Shield. Lots of people are talking about what's happening in Sword and Shield and not really focusing on the entire thing that Masuda said. He's not saying they're cutting on certain Pokemon for us. He's saying this is an entire policy shift for Game Freak. Because of this, changing forest, they're going to be removing some Pokemon. Yeah. The policy change is directly detrimental to a unique experience. We have already seen that Galar's champion, Ace, is Ace's Charizard of all things. Not any new Pokemon, not any other dragon. Charizard, in order to keep what Game Freak view as favorites. The next will be noted by South. Okay. You're kind of also shooting yourself in the foot when you make this argument, because we've also seen only about 12 Pokemon. Now, his Charizard most definitely might be an ace, his ace Pokemon. I'm not denying that. His Charizard might be his ace. But we also haven't seen every other Pokemon. So consider the fact that there's other aspects of the game that we haven't seen. Again, we've only seen like 20% of the game probably so far. There could be a dragon type Pokemon that he has, or I don't think he's a dragon type trainer, right? I think that's well, Charizard is a dragon, so is it a dragon type Pokemon? So he could be oh man, I don't even know what type he focuses on if he's just an all around trainer. So yeah, he appeared with Charizard and it looks like it's ace. I get that. Yeah, that's a valid point. We've also only seen 12 Pokemon, so other Pokemon that could be focused on within his team, we're just not seeing right now because they're trying not to show that off. You can't it makes sense to show the legendaries, because that's the whole point of the. Here as well. That's a story element, and that's also going to be on the box art. But other Pokemon as well that we haven't seen yet, those could also act as very important to his team. So again, we haven't seen no Pokemon. So that argument itself is kind of weak. Not any Pokemon, not any other dragon. Yeah, so that argument's kind of weak. In order to keep what Game Freak views as the favorites, the decks will be limited by slots in the eyes of the community, which will cause discourse over who gets in and who doesn't. Doesn't just remind anyone of Smash. Okay, the thing about Smash is that people act as if these characters are slots. No character is a slot unless like stated otherwise. That's different. Smash and Pokemon are completely different in the fact of everybody wants something, but the thing is that what Smash focuses on is icons as well. So, and also fan demand as of recently. So like K. Rool, Simon, Banjo, that's mostly due to fan demand. And people have always fighted over what characters they want to see in Smash because that's kind of the whole thing about Smash. It's different characters and stuff. With Pokemon, yes, everybody has a favorite. Every Pokemon, every trainer, every player has a favorite Pokemon. But let's also remember that not every Pokemon. Oh yes, every Pokemon is important because everybody has a favorite. That's undeniable. Is every Pokemon important related to the journey? For the trainer, yes. For the actual experience, for the actual region itself, no, not really. Because not every Pokemon appears in the region itself. Like with what's it called? X and Y or RS or what's it called? Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon has it on Alola-Dex, and I'm like from how I felt it was the Pokemon were catered to that region itself. For X and Y and Sun and Moon, you don't find like every Pokemon that's discoverable in the wild as well. The most recently released games, Let's Go, while considered a spin-off as some do this fact, it's not a spin-off, it's a mainline game. Only include the Cantonia Pokemon plus Melta in order to retain as much compatibility as possible. Kanto Pokemon are going to be everywhere. They don't belong in Galar. Don't believe me? Check the confirmed list of Pokemon. Already Kanto outweighs everything. You already know 3 spots of every region from now on will be taken by the Pikachu line. Furthermore, if they don't want to remove the Kanto starters, Mew or Mewtwo ever. There was also some confusion about what deck set meant in the first place. Well, some argued that entitled customers were only mad due to not wanting to move on. This is not the case. The point of that outrage is due to not being able to use these Pokemon at all. Yeah, I can understand that. It's not due to time constraints. It's due to quality. This is deliberate attempt to change the main series forever. Yeah, it is. I understand that. So, if we look at the Pokemon list, hold on. Maybe, but I'm trying to be a little. So why exactly is it so hard to add new Pokemon via updates? The attack animations are the same for every Pokemon. See Blastoise, Hydro Pump compared to Battle Revolution. Okay, so the text. I don't think it will be I don't think it will be hard to add new Pokemon via updates. I think that decision has not been made probably because they're just focusing on getting the main game out right now. Similar to the way that some developers don't talk about DLC until the main game is complete. Like, we all expected Ultimate to have DLC, right? But they didn't talk about it until the final direct because at that point, the game's pretty much already finished. They just when Smash came out, they already had DLC announced, and they also revealed what they were working on in emails. So it's like that again, that's all DLC. The Pokemon doesn't do DLC, but patches I think will come. And right now they haven't discussed on whether patches will be happening. Do I think a patch will be happening? Yes. Do I think a patch should happen? Yeah. Will I be upset if it doesn't happen? No, personally, because I still think that the Pokemon should be catered to the region itself. Because again, everybody has a favorite, right? But that also means that not everybody is using every Pokemon. So although every Pokemon is valuable to a person, that also every Pokemon also isn't valuable to a person. It's just only a select few to people. So at that point, it's like if you're cutting Pokemon, it's like a double-edged sword. Not everybody's using the Pokemon, but everybody separately likes every Pokemon. So it's like if it's not damned if you do, because if you use the Pokemon, if you have all these Pokemon but people aren't using it. But so like if you take a Pokemon, then people are going to be mad that there's Pokemon because you're possibly taking out somebody's favorite. So it's like there's nothing you could do other than have all the Pokemon there. But let's say in a hypothetical situation where you really couldn't have all Pokemon in there, where you completely could not have all Pokemon in the game, what are you gonna do then? Because at that point, then it's like, okay, well, if every Pokemon can't be in there, now it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? Now, if they don't have Pokemon via updates and make us buy another $60 game, make the old game versus with restriction, now that obviously, yeah, I don't think Sword and Shield, there should be like a third version of Sword and Shield. Definitely not. And if there is, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. There definitely should not be a third version. Pokemon Sword and Shield should last us enough. Now with DLC, of course, because of what Pokemon is, it's gonna be hard to do DLC because Pokemon isn't a franchise that can actually kind of do DLC and make sense, because there's a limit cap. Yeah, you're at 100, and once you're at 100, you can kind of just blow through everything. So unless you made the limit cap higher, it'd be like, okay, well, or like you made like train like the AI way more aggressive, then that'll work, right? Instead of being able to one shot everything, because you have your Pokemon at level 100. So what else would you add? It's like it's kind of in a rough situation. You can make the AI more aggressive. That's a good thing. Yeah, do that. But it's also like, because of the franchise, it's like you have the. Is this updating? No, it's not. It's still not updating. It's still being a little bitch. So it's like it's kind of like you can do it, but it's also like, because there's a limit of how far Pokemon can go in terms of what you can do. It's also like, well, damn, we kind of can't add this stuff. Kind of can't add DLC. So it's also, and so for people that don't buy DLC, it's like, well, no, I won't say that. It's your balance. You need to have healthy meta. BTFO. I don't even know what is BTFO mean again. I always forget. The excuse for this falls flat because we've had a system to only allow regional Dex Pokemon to be used in competitive since Generation 6, and to a lesser extent Black and White. The origin marking, yeah. Hate to be the one break this to you, but the meta finds a way. Take a look at Let's Go Battle Spy. It's all the same 6 Pokemon, even despite just including Kanto. Yeah, that's an issue. The origin marking symbolizes that your Pokemon has been caught in a certain game of origin or regeneration. So, an official live tournaments in Generation 5 and 6, as well as a battle spot in Pokemon Ruby, Mega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Only Pokemon with a particular origin marking can be used. For Generation 6, official live tournaments, Pokemon RS battle spot. Only Pokemon with the blue pentagon can be used. For Generation 7 official live tournaments, only Pokemon with the black Cobra can be used. That's true, right? But what about in situations where like the tournaments and stuff? Like they host online tournaments where you're able to use other Pokemon. So although like for mainly, oh no, they do mention live tournaments. So and there are some live tournaments where you can use other Pokemon. But in game balance, you just want to blaze through the game with all the Pokemon. Have you never really played Pokemon before? Yeah, if you don't have the Pokemon, if the Pokemon's higher level, it's not gonna listen to you. It's not going to listen to you, and you can't transfer to post game anyways. But based upon what they're saying, they've been talking about competitive stuff, which they don't really do before. So I understand where people are like, they don't believe it. The fact that Game Freak's talking about competitive, what type of shit? Like I get that. But if they're making that decision to talk about competitive now, then it's also like, well, we have to at least give them some. I don't know if leeway is the word, but if they're going to choose to do, to focus on competitive in certain aspects now, then we have to also be like, if they're competitive more, because they've always done tournaments. But if they're gonna focus on competitive more within the game itself, it's like, okay, now we have to wait and see what they're doing. How are they changing things up in terms of the competition? And just like how you said before, only a certain amount of Pokemon are used. You see, it's the same 6 Pokemon, even despite it being Kanto. Yeah, you also see the same 6 Pokemon in the in the other games as well. So it's like cutting some Pokemon also gives spotlight to other Pokemon. Now that also might mean that just a different Pokemon will just be overused or will become the main highlight in competitions. But that also doesn't. But like depending on how you play, because I think Dynamaxing really changes that, because every Pokemon can do it. Mega Evolution just was only able to certain Pokemon. Stronger Pokemon were made stronger, and some weaker Pokemon were made stronger. But not every Pokemon was made stronger. So Dynamaxing works in a way where every Pokemon, no matter what, can Dynamax. So if a Pokemon can Dynamax, if any Pokemon can Dynamax, then any Pokemon has a chance to being used, even if the every Pokemon has a chance of being used. Basically every Pokemon with Dynamaxing has a chance of being used. That's what I mean. What the hell? Why did this open? Oh. About that? Okay. Oh, what was that? Anyways, okay. Aren't Gold models HD? Could they just take these models and add them and switch out at least? The Gold models are from X and Y. The Pokemon Gold models are from X and Y. So literally, you're asking them to reuse the models, which is what they're already doing. I'm pretty sure the Gold models are from X and Y. Yeah, Pokemon Go's models are from X and Y or S, so it's just with a different like styling to them, or like a different lighting to them, or like they don't have that outline and stuff. They're the same models, just presented differently in a way. All right, so lastly, so yeah, my 3DS isn't updating. It's not working the way I wanted it to. So I can't test out that Pokemon Bank thing, but I will try it out. I will still try it out offline. So, this conclusion. Pokemon as a series has been steadily declining. When the loyal fan base defended them for the removal of fan favorite features such as walking with Pokemon, their excuse was always along the lines of, well, they'd have to make 200 or more sprites, so it's understandable. I haven't seen that argument. I've also seen that they try to limit it to a generation in the same way that, like, what was it? Like in Oras, they didn't have, what's it called? In Oras, they didn't have like you're able to customize your own trainer, and the excuse that they gave to that was they wanted to limit to a specific region. It didn't. They said that it didn't feel right for Hoenn to have that aspect. It's not like that. So I can understand it, although like to again the arguments that they want to characterize the region by taking out some aspects or taking out some features that were in previous games. And say for example with like Z moves, the way that Z moves are described within the story itself is that there's like the Z crystals are like broken off from the Necrozma. So from a story standpoint, it wouldn't make sense for Z moves to be in the Galar region because Necrozma is there. Necrozma is a part of that story. Now I understand that feature should still be there. If you added that feature, why not support it? And I get that, but it's also like how Game Freak is doing is that they want the features to also characterize the region as well, and people don't like that. And I can understand. I can understand if people don't like that direction. But now, despite using the same assets since 2013, these features still remain assets. The post-game Baron and an Eternal Flow at completely unreleased despite getting an updated move animation. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell is up with that. Not only the games, but the manga and anime have been suffering as a result of something being done wrong. The fans are either tired of Ash being the protagonist or are absolutely still mad that he lost to Alan despite all the build-up. And the manga is rushing to get us material despite not even completing the Black White 2 arc from 2012. No one is happy. It's not getting better, and the series is suffering as a result. Okay. Now, again, some of the stuff has nothing to do with Game Freak. The Battlefront 2 thing, the ORAS, Battlefront 2 should have definitely been in, and I don't know why. They gave a reason why. I don't like that reasoning. There was like the smartphone thing. I don't like that reasoning. Battlefront 2 should have definitely been ORAS. Now the manga thing. That supposedly they just went back into serialization, like they continued it. So I mean, they already continued it. They already plan to continue that. So it's also like, well, that point is kind of mute now. You can put up the exact moment TV ratings dropped. The Sun and Moon anime is great, but you'd have to be blind to see how stale the show has become as a result of Ash being a never growing, never winning protagonist. Many would love an adaptation of the games. Many would love an anime adaptation of the games or manga. The manga is an adaptation of the games, and they've never done an anime adaptation. Well, no, they did do an anime adaptation of. No, they didn't. They did an anime adaptation of the game specifically. Yeah, they did with Generations and Origins. So they already did that type of thing. So now it's just to be continued. I don't know if this is referring to Hilda, but or if it's just saying like continuing the argument. And now I haven't seen that, but basically, I'm monkey. Now, basically, there are good arguments in this, and I do agree with some of it. But also in places of where there is good arguments, there are also weak arguments as well. This isn't overall strong. So, I'm not gonna say that. Oh, this doesn't matter. The arguments that are being made, they definitely do matter, and we should. They're the same amount as why. There should be change. There should be change. We should strive for quality, for the utmost quality, and hopefully, Sword and Shield delivers on that quality, because I do think that it will. I'm hoping that it will be a great game. I could get Sword and Shield, and it could be a completely ass game. I thought X and Y was gonna be amazing, and it ended up being shit. After looking back on it, X and Y is not that great. It has good features, but it's not that great overall. In terms of story, it's bad. In terms of post game, it's barely any. So, again, this is of a game that we haven't seen. Is it unreasonable to think that things will continue? No. If you see that things are going going a certain way steadily, it's not outrageous for you to think that it will continue in that way. However, with the fact that they're going to a new console, I understand that the Pokemon decks. Yeah, you can pop in. I'm about to end the stream soon in a while, but I understand that I understand that because you're seeing things go a certain way, it makes sense to also assume that it'll be going that same way. However, this is their first console. We haven't seen all of the game yet. Things can change. I understand that people don't like the decks being limited. And yes, but that, and also we should be critiquing Game Freak from the get-go. But using that decks being limited as a reason to nitpick certain things, or to look at things that we never looked at before, that's definitely an issue, because that means that we've just been giving Game Freak a pass when we shouldn't have. But there hasn't been overall a whole bunch of stuff that has truly affected the game in this sort of way. Like, there wasn't a limited decks before, even though Sun and Moon came very close to limiting its decks, but it didn't. So it's like the thing that they were afraid of having to do, they have to do now. I think that they almost had to do, they're doing now. So at this point, it's like, well, we just have to see if for me the limited decks isn't a deal breaker for me, because I don't care. I'm not using all those Pokemon. We all don't use all those Pokemon. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, if Sword and Shield still ends up being bad, I'm still gonna be pissed. If it ends up being bad, it's still being bad. I'm pissed at that point. But I still don't think that we should be writing off Sun and Moon and adding more things when these were clearly things that we didn't care about before. Not to say that they're not an issue, but the fact that we're pointing out these issues now to have them hold more weight because of the current situation, part of that feels to me a bit disingenuous. So we've been streaming for like 2 hours. We've been streaming for like 2 hours. So hopefully, I got my opinions across as well as I could. I do kind of badly talking off script, or just when I have a whole bunch of things to say and I kind of get mixed between what I want to say and how I want to say it. But I do hope that this stream was enjoyable for you guys, especially the guys who came on stream to talk with us in the voice chat. So definitely thank you guys for coming up and like being able to have a civil discussion about what you think about these games and what you want to see. And outside of that, I'm just gonna keep making Pokemon videos for Source Gaming. Other than that, I'm gonna be doing some other stuff, like of course reviews. We got stuff like coming out, like we got A Shadow working on his Devil May Cry videos. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for the ride. And when Sword and Shield does come out, and as we do see more news, expect me to cover it, because I do plan to be covering it. Talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for staying for this long stream, and I hope you guys have a great day.